Arg! Ahoy there, matey! Welcome aboard the world of boating.
Please stand clear of the doors. Por favor, manténganse alejado de las puertas.
The radio show devoted exclusively to the boating lifestyle.
You're gonna need a bigger boat.
Brought to you by worldofboating.com, your internet portal for the boating enthusiast.
I was just looking into buying a boat of my own.
Call World of Boating toll-free now at 1-8888-28-BOAT. That's 1-888-828-BOAT.
And welcome. This is the World of Boating. Greg, your first mate, Captain Patrick, Mike the Mariner, rounding out the crew as we attempt to navigate the latest boating news and information. And Barry the Boater not with us today. He's recovering from his jab. He got a jab yesterday, so he's feeling a little under the weather. So we'll give him a pass, send him down below, and hopefully he'll be back with us next week on the big show. I'm a little bit behind the eight ball as well, because I just got back from Fiji, and I am totally upside down, jet lagged, whatever you want to call it. So it's going to be up to Patrick and Mike the Mariner to carry us through these treacherous waters today on the World of Boating. Are you capable of doing this today, Patrick? What do you think?
I do it every Saturday, Greg.
What? What is he trying to say, Mike? I don't get it.
Even when you're on the ball, right?
I don't know what to think about that, but
Yeah.
I think we should just move on. But yeah, I'm doing okay. But man, I had an amazing time in Fiji, and you meet a lot of interesting people. We went on a few boats. I don't really have much boating news to talk about, but we do have a special guest coming up on the show today about doing the Bourbon Trail. And I was talking bourbon with one of my diving friends that I met in Fiji, who was from LA, and we were comparing notes on bourbon and all this kind of stuff. He was a bourbon aficionado. I think he said he had like 100 bottles of bourbon. And lo and behold, I get back and find out we got a guest scheduled today to do the Bourbon Trail on your boat, I guess. Is that the deal, Patrick?
No, completely wrong. But
no. You get on your boat and you traverse the Bourbon Trail, don't you?
No.
What do you mean, no?
No. They do the tour. You get on their boat. It's their business.
That's what I just said. You do the Bourbon Trail with these bourbon boat guys.
You said you get on your boat.
Well, you have to get there, don't you? And you could go there by boat.
Jeez, God.
And then you get on a boat, and then you do the Bourbon Trail.
Can you just not admit that you misspoke, and so we can move on?
Never. I never have. I'm right even when I'm wrong. Come on. You know this. How many years have we been doing this show? Anyway, that's coming up in a little bit. It'll be an interesting thing. Nice little fall activity maybe to do, to combine, boats and bourbon. Maybe not at the same time. They don't want you driving. I guess that's the issue. But
that's why you would take their tour and be on their boat.
Yeah, but you can still go there on your boat, anchor it, put it up on the dock, and then join them on their tour. And it'll be on a boat. It'll be fun. We'll find out all about it. Here we are, back from Fiji. I'm like all, at one with myself, and Patrick's already, arguing. What's up? What's up with that? Come on.
I'm just telling you, you're wrong about something.
Never. All right. So anyway, we got that coming up. Let's move on to other stuff. What's been happening with you, Mike? I mean, I see you're at the helm of your vessel today.
Yeah, I'm not at the helm, actually.
No?
I'm actually in the cabin.
You are at the helm, Mike. Make that perfectly clear.
Where are you? I can't see. I can't see from the video.
No, I'm inside the boat because it's a little bit muggy and it's raining. So I'm just hanging out inside in the air conditioning. But
I see.
No, so last week we took the Craig Cat out, did about 50 miles on it.
Oh, I saw a picture on Facebook from that. Yeah.
Amazing day. We went about 50 miles all the way up through near Lake Harney and up this tributary called Deep Creek, about 5 miles up that river, and then back across Lake Jessup and back, all the way back again. And ran the boat about 4.5 hours, two food stops, and only burned 4.5 gallons of gas.
So
you are a brave man taking that boat across Lake Jessup.
We didn't see a single alligator.
Really?
Which blows my mind.
It does. I thought that they were loaded. How do you get on Lake Jessup in Central Florida and not see a gator? Well,
Exactly. Yeah.
because they were all trailing them.
they were all underneath the
don't
Craig
look
Cat.
behind you, because they were just waiting for that thing.
Don't
to
tip your
break down.
toes in the water off the edge of that Craig Cat.
Their food wasn't going to get any closer to the water surface than where you were at on that Craig Cat.
Huh. So this
Yeah.
this was
Yeah.
obviously the middle of the day. They come out in the evening more, I guess. But I'm surprised you didn't see any. They weren't like
We didn't see, not even on Deep Creek, which,
Huh.
I've been up Deep Creek. I've been going up Deep Creek most of my life, and I've
Yeah.
seen alligators almost every time. This time, not a single gator. And crossing Lake Jessup, I thought, well, you see when you go across that bridge
Yep.
on the 417,
right.
you see them
driving.
all over the place. So
Yeah.
I thought we would see, 5 or 6 alligators, not a single one.
Huh.
And finally, you were on a boat that could get under that bridge.
Yes, yes,
Okay.
exactly. Well, we didn't go over to that side of the lake. We entered Lake Jessup from the St. Johns River there at Highway 46, and then crossed that eastern side of the lake. It's about a 5-mile crossing over to the Black Hammock Fish Camp.
Oh wow!
Now,
So you
for-
had quite a trek there. I mean, that's
Mhm.
impressive on that little Craig Cat. I didn't know you were going to take it around like that, but obviously it
Yeah.
worked for you. And I saw the
Yeah.
video or a picture of your adventure on Facebook, and the seas were like glass. I mean, you were just cruising like crazy, I guess, right?
Yeah, when the picture you're talking about was taken, we were doing about 30 miles an hour, and literally we had just left the Black Hammock Fish Camp. I pointed the boat north towards the St. Johns River and
Mhm.
never touched the tiller again until we got there. The boat just went dead straight all the way across the lake.
Nice. So it sounds like so far that Craig Cat that Patrick tried to dissuade you from purchasing has been a big winner as far as how you've used it so far.
For us, yes,
Yeah.
it's way better for what we are using it for than a typical rib would have been.
Mm-hmm.
Ribs aren't as fast, and for this size boat, the rib that I would have purchased would have still been really a 2-person craft, maybe
Yeah.
3.
Right.
The Craig Cat is a 2-person boat, but it has storage and it has a 30 horsepower outboard and it flies. So so we're using it for exploring, and we're just towing it.
I would bet it's
behind-
a good conversation starter too. People see that they go, that's kind of different looking because it looks like a mini pontoon.
You're the guy who bought that. Oh.
Yeah, and they're like, "Geez, I wish I was you." That's what they're thinking, Patrick.
And let me point out, the discussion centered around buying a craft so that Mike, if he wasn't able to take his mega yacht into a marina or into a dock, that he would have a means to get from point A to point B. Not so that he had another toy that he could run up and down the St. John's in
Well,
50 miles a shot.
that was a bonus.
That would have been a whole completely different conversation.
Oh, so now you're
Yeah.
saying that he picked the right boat?
No, I'm still not saying
Okay,
that.
right, exactly. That's what I thought. Okay,
What
now
I'm saying
now
is
who's wrong?
That would have been a whole completely different conversation. And for our listeners out there who aren't familiar with the waters of Central Florida, when we talk about Lake Jessup, we are talking about probably one of the most
Gator infested waterways in Central Florida, if not Florida.
Probably, absolutely, yeah.
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 Lots of
is,
gators.
This
Mhm.
bridge Mike was talking about that goes the 417 bridge. When you drive over it, I have yet, and usually because I'm on my motorcycle, when I look either to the left or to the right, you can see where it almost looks like you could walk, and this is a very wide lake, from one shoreline to the other shoreline if you were able to step on the heads of these alligators.
That's right.
'Cause
They're
it
just sitting there
is-
looking up at Patrick on his motorcycle, like, "Please crash. We're hungry. Please crash."
Hey.
I'm just
That is-
saying.
that is not. Do
That's
not
a lot
do
of
that.
gators. They got to
do-
eat a lot to
Do not do
survive.
that bad juju with me, man.
There's no bad.
Because
no
you
bad
know what
juju.
happened in 2014. Do not say stuff like that.
Okay, he was not eaten by an alligator, but yeah, there was another incident involved. But hey, now you know about Lake Jessup thanks to the crew here at the World of Boating. The Bourbon Trail on a boat next on the World of Boating. Stay close.
You're listening to the World of Boating Radio Network.
Hosting a radio show about scuba diving and boating is one of the best gigs on the planet. It's actually part of my job to check out and report on cool new products I personally use to enhance my diving and boating adventures. However, I do believe in sharing the joy, and this is why we've added Nanook protective hard cases to our list of products you can now purchase on the merchandise page at scubaradio.com. Nanook cases are designed to protect the most sensitive equipment in the harshest environments. Underwater photographers, listen up. From their high-impact NK7 resin to their exclusive Power Claw latches, Nanook has raised the bar for those of you that demand the best protection for your gear. Plus, Nanook protective cases cost less than similar products currently on the market. The company has been around for over 15 years, but it's new to the U.S., so we've made a small number of Nanook cases available exclusively for you at a special introductory price on the merchandise page at scubaradio.com. Go there now and check out Nanook, the evolution of protection.
Be an explorer in the other two-thirds of your world. Be the buddy who takes the kids in the aquarium instead of just to it. Be adventurous. Be amazed. Be a diver.
Even Keatley wasn't ready for me, or anything that followed. Chased by a police department, led by his ex-girlfriend, and hunted by brain fork-wielding Fijian assassins, it's everything he can do to keep from getting locked up, killed, or worse. Kava Screw is available as an ebook for $2.99 at Amazon.com. Kava Screw. Put a brain fork in him. He's done.
You have successfully navigated the Sea of Commerce and now are clear to cruise with the World of Boating.
I do like the water.
The radio show devoted exclusively to the boating lifestyle.
The sun, the sea air, good friends.
Brought to you by worldofboating.com, your internet portal for the boating enthusiast.
Welcome aboard. I will be your captain. You'll be my scallywags. I don't know what that means, but you will be them. And here's how we play.
Thank you for your attention and welcome aboard.
Let's go.
This is the World of Boating. Greg, your first mate. Captain Patrick, Mike the Mariner, rounding up the crew. All right, so you want to do the Bourbon Trail on a boat? We have Nathan on the World of Boating with us right now. Nathan, welcome. You are the bourbon captain, or Captain Bourbon guy or something. I don't know. What is it exactly? How'd you get wrapped up in this stuff?
I'll take it. No, I'll take it. I like that. No, captain of the bourbon. I like that. That's cool.
Yeah.
No, so we are the Bourbon Boats. We are a small family business right here in the middle of the Kentucky Bourbon Trail in Frankfort, Kentucky. Currently sitting on our boat right now called the Trace of Kentucky. I can see Buffalo Trace Distillery right downstream from me here. I definitely can smell it. And
nice.
And we pride ourselves in people coming to the Bourbon Trail and getting a unique look at the bourbon industry, a look you won't find anywhere else in our state, where you actually get to learn about the history of the Bourbon Trail via the water.
I love this. This is such a cool idea. I've been actually talking a lot, to friends lately, because I'm on a personal bourbon journey myself, learning more and more about the different bourbons there in Kentucky and around the world and all that kind of stuff. And I never thought you could do it by boat. So is this something you've been doing for some time now, or is this a relatively new thing, or what?
Well, a little bit of both. It's relatively new and been around a while. We've been in business as a boat tour company for the last 5 seasons. We started doing these tours. My family runs a 3rd generation canoe and kayak business here in Frankfort, and for the last 15 years, we've been paddling people down to the Buffalo Trace Distillery and letting them do tours there. And I just came up with this idea a few years back that, hey, some people may not want to paddle down there. And so we built our own boat and started doing tours here on the river 5 seasons ago, and it's just gone phenomenally well so far.
Well, Nathan, before we continue on, let's give the website so people can connect with you and book this tour, because I think I'm going to be on that list as well. What is it?
Yeah, super easy. It's bourbonboat.com.
Simple enough.
When you're on there, you can find all of our different tours we offer. We offer 9 different tours. Some of our tours are partnership tours with Buffalo Trace Distillery. we legally here in Kentucky, if you've got an open vessel, we can't legally drink on the rivers. And so some of our tours, you go out on the river, you learn about the history, and then we go back to Buffalo Trace and you get to do a tour and a tasting, or maybe you just do a tasting. We also partner with another great bourbon hotspot here in town called Bourbon on Main, and take you up the river and drop you off at their place where you get to work with a bourbon expert trying out anywhere from 4 to 6 different bourbons. And, so we try to give people the all around experience.
I love it. What kind of boat are we talking about, though? Exactly.
Well, our boat's a custom built. It's Carolina skiff hull pushed with 135 horsepower Honda. But then everything on top of it from there was custom built right here in Kentucky.
Patrick, what do you think?
I want to back up just real quick. You said that in Kentucky, you're not allowed to drink while you're on a vessel, passengers.
Well, what I said was that if you're on an open vessel, so if you're inside a cabin vessel, if you've got a cabin,
right,
you're not in plain view of the public, you can do whatever you want. But the waters of Kentucky are considered public highways. So if you're sitting on the deck of a pontoon boat, drinking back on an old fashioned or something like that, technically it's just like walking down the side of the street here in Kentucky drinking an old fashioned. So
right.
It's not legal unless you're on a cabin vessel. And our current vessel is a wide open vessel where we're currently looking at boat number 2 for next season, which will be a much larger cabin vessel where we'll start doing bourbon pours on board. But as of right now, we got to do those off the boat.
Okay. Well, I got to ask too, though, what about the as far as, do you stop along the way where you can go out and get a little nip in there in between being on the boat, or you got to finish the entire tour before you get take advantage of those tastings?
Well, like I said, we got one tour that partners up with a bourbon hotspot here, and about halfway through the tour, we stop at a local dock and walk up to a place and have a bourbon tasting there, and then we finish out the tour. What we really pride ourselves on is getting people out on the water for an hour and a half, and just teaching them the real history of bourbon. We've got almost 100 distilleries here in Kentucky producing 95% of the world's bourbon supply, and
right.
We're not owned by any one distillery, so we go out and just give the unbiased truth about what exactly is bourbon.
Well, you got to sample them all. I mean, that's just the law in Kentucky, I believe. Mike the Mariner, what do you think?
Yeah, well, I think this is fantastic.
Yeah.
I'm interested in where the tours take place, though. So you're on the Kentucky River. Are all of the tours on the Kentucky River, or are there other bodies of water that you run?
All of our tours are on the Kentucky River, and it's very important that we do them on the Kentucky River. If you can give me about 2 minutes to tell you why. It's right here in Frankfort, Kentucky.
Yeah.
Right here in Frankfort, Kentucky is where bourbon really started. This river is why bourbon became what it was. Back in the late 17 and early 1800s, we were shipping all the stuff out of Kentucky by water, and the flooded, shallow, normally Kentucky River was one of the only ways to get your goods downstream, right? You'd ride a flood from the Kentucky to the Ohio to the Mississippi down to New Orleans, and all that time in those wooden barrels that they had burnt the insides of because they wanted to clean out all the pickle juice and the beets and the fish and all that stuff that was in them. All the time in those barrels heading down these rivers, 12 months, 18 months later, that clear alcohol that they put in started to change colors. And those New Orleanders are like, man, this red whiskey in these wooden barrels is pretty darn good stuff. And many of those early barrels had words on the top of them. And many of the early words were Bourbon County, Kentucky whiskey. Bourbon County is just one of the 120 counties of Kentucky, but at one time it was a massive county, and many distilleries were stamping those words right on top of their barrel, and that's where most historians believe the name of bourbon originated from. So our river and right here in Frankfort is really why bourbon even came what it was.
God bless. God bless that area.
Exactly.
Tasty concoction. Yeah.
Well, the people in New Orleans obviously loved it. They named the street after it.
That's true. That's true. Patrick, what do you think of this? Yeah.
The waters that you're on, that you do the tours on, that's the same water that the distilleries are using, correct?
Yeah, so there's all this stuff, Kentucky became the center of the bourbon universe because of that limestone filtered spring water of Kentucky. And a lot of people still conjure up in their minds these little limestone springs on a property that are bubbling up this crystal clear water. Well, if you're a distillery that's putting up 1,000 barrels of bourbon a day, realize there's 53 gallons in every one of those barrels. Well, there's not quite enough water coming out of a spring. Now, this river does originate in the mountains of eastern Kentucky, where there is a lot of limestone springs. The water does run right over top of limestone rock. But the majority of the distilleries are pulling their water out of our rivers. They've got their own treatment facilities. You know, our big distillery here in town just put a whole bunch of money into having a very environmentally water treatment facility. So they are pulling a lot of water out. On top of that, the river I'm sitting on at this moment is 1/5 of our state's drinking water supply. So big towns like Lexington, Kentucky, and Frankfort and Richmond, we're all getting our drinking water out of this river as well.
Yeah, but you're doing something with it that's worthwhile for the rest of the world.
Right.
Yeah, so you can't drink and boat there, Nathan. But can you just send us some bourbon here at World of Boating in Florida? I don't know. Is there a state line issue there?
We can do some bartering for sure.
There we go. Now we're talking.
We sometimes get called bourbon dumb by some of our friends. I guess we're kind of spoiled being right here in the middle of the bourbon universe. How much of it we have, but it's a really neat industry to be in right now for sure. So
bourbonboat.com. Patrick, last thought.
How long does the season run where you're at?
Yeah, we run through the middle of November.
Good stuff. Nathan, thank you so much for being on the World of Boating. That is awesome. I think I definitely have found something to add to my boating list of things to do, and I think that includes Mike, and even Patrick might be on board for this. All right, we got more coming up. Stay close. I think I need a dip, too.
You're listening to the World of Boating Radio Network.
Traffic sucks, unless you're scuba diving with Mike Scott.
Mike glanced down at his dive computer. It showed less than 50 PSI left in his tank. Probably just a few more breaths.
Or riding shotgun in a thrilling car chase.
One bullet hit the Jeep's windshield, spiderwebbing the passenger side. Mike shifted into second gear and felt the Jeep leap forward. This just got serious.
Escape your commute with audiobooks from author Eric Douglas. Download to your phone. Go to booksbyeric.com or audible.com.
Do you have a message or product you need to share with the boating world? Well, look no further than the World of Boating radio show. Just like you, thousands of boating enthusiasts are hearing this message, and we could be talking about you and your product or service as early as next Saturday. Remember, a terrible thing happens when you don't advertise. Nothing. Go to worldofboating.com, send us an email, and let's get to work to make your marketing message matter.
You have successfully navigated the Sea of Commerce and now are clear to cruise with the World of Boating.
I do like the water.
The radio show devoted exclusively to the boating lifestyle.
The sun, the sea air, good friends.
Brought to you by worldofboating.com, your internet portal for the boating enthusiast.
Yoo-hoo, Mr. Pirate!
What will we do with a drunken sailor? What will we do with a drunken sailor? What will we do with a drunken sailor at the light in the morning?
This is the World of Boating. Greg, your first mate, Captain Patrick, Mike the Mariner, rounding out the crew. All right, we're not drunk. We were just talking about it a little bit, getting there quicker. Bourbon will do that. If you drink a little bit of it, it'll definitely get you there quicker. And it is a sweet concoction out of Kentucky. And I've been sampling quite a bit. Do you got a favorite, by the way, Mike? Bourbon brand you want to throw out there or no?
So my favorite, call it attainable bourbon, is probably Angel's Envy.
Ooh,
that's a very, very nice, very smooth.
Yeah.
But I'm wearing a hat right now that says Rip Van Winkle on it. This would be, and I got this at the Buffalo Trace Distillery 5-6 years ago. And I will tell you that's an unattainable bourbon.
Yeah.
I mean, it's attainable, but it's a big drain on your bank account.
Right. Yeah. Right now I'm drinking Wild Turkey Rare Breed. I love that little concoction. You get about, $50 or so here in Florida.
Yeah.
But that's
very good stuff.
That's a tasty little concoction. And Patrick, I don't know. Do you have a fave you want to throw out there, or you drink anything? I gave it to you as long as it was free.
I don't drink alcohol, Greg, but thanks for playing.
All right.
Appreciate that. And that's due, before anybody asks, that's due more to my professional licenses that I carry. It's just, so like my Class A CDL, it's like a .04 in the state of Florida, whether I'm driving a rig or not. Yeah. And the Coast Guard would not hesitate to jump in if I was to get popped for
Right.
a DUI at a 4.401.
I think
that's
like
like
3
captain's
sips.
license as
I think
well.
you would make that with about a half a shot of Rare Bird.
Yeah, so it's just, but I'd say a Destapen 69 is probably the one that you want to look for. That has been touted as probably one of the premier bourbons. And if you look for it, Destapen 69, you won't find it because I just made it up.
I was going to say I never heard of that one. What the hell?
I was trying to
I was like,
figure out
what?
where. I know most of the really
me
good
too.
bourbons out there, and I've never heard of that one before.
Good reason. Although I could have drawn that out for a bit, but I just decided now let's move on to some boating stuff.
Right. Okay. Moving on.
So this past week, as boating continues its march forward towards electric, Evoy has unveiled in Cannes what is touted as the world's strongest, most powerful electric outboard motor, and that's a 300 horsepower electric outboard with 225 kW of continuous power.
Wow.
It is known as the Outboard Storm and is the most powerful electric outboard ever, the manufacturer said in a statement.
Okay.
So they have announced partnerships with 3 boat builders. Axopar, which is, if you remember, if you've been listening to the show, that was Barry's choice 2 years ago for Boat of the Year. French Iguana Yachts and Goldfish. So all these builders are planning to unveil models with these new 300 horsepower electric outboards.
I think he just made those manufacturers up, just like he did the bourbon.
That
Iguana and what? What was the other one?
Goldfish.
Really?
And Axopar. And if
Okay.
you don't believe me, that story has posted on worldofboating.com and, of course, is on the World of Boating Facebook page. So, again, we're making inroads, and I think you'll probably see in the next 5 years every major manufacturer in the United States will have electric outboard offerings, if not on their small models, certainly moving up into their larger boats as well. It's an interesting time to be in the industry for sure. I'm trying to remember the last major shift like this, and I guess I'd have to go back to Volvo Penta and their introduction of IPS. Was kind of a big game change in boating in the manufacturing end, and this would be a continuation of that.
Well, I mean, it's going to follow the automotive industry, it sounds like to me. What do you think, Mike?
Well, what kind of data do they release about speed, range? Well, speed would be determined by the kind of vessel that it's tied to, but how far can you go? How much?
Yeah, range is always the issue when it comes to EVs.
Well, they were talking
boats.
225 kW of continuous power. So, again, you're absolutely right, Mike. As we get into the manufacturers then coupling up these electric outboards in their boats, it's really going to come down to battery capacity, recharge time, because what you're also going to see, which we've started talking about, is the elimination of generators and boats going strictly with power bank systems, which are going to be lithium batteries. I just took part about a month and a half ago, a big thing with ABYC on lithium batteries and their integration into boating and what that will mean safety-wise, what has going to have to be adhered to, all those standards, which they're really kind of having to work out right now because nobody's really on the mass-produced end like that given a whole lot of thought to how everything needs to be handled. Because, of course, we know with some electric vehicles that when there's been accidents and those cars have caught on fire and it made its way to those batteries, that's been a concern, a problem. I don't know that it will be as much in the marine industry because, unfortunately, in those incidents where boats have caught on fire, pretty much once the resin and the fiberglass starts going, I mean, that's a fuel source unto itself. That is extremely hard to get under control.
Right. So add to that the variable of maintenance, right? Boats, many boats will sit for months without being touched. Boats are not maintained nearly as to the rigor of a car because people use their cars every day. They might not use the boat for a long time. The boat might be sitting in a yard, baking in the sun. How do these batteries
hold up over time?
Hold up over time when there's that variable. Then there's moisture, there's the salt environment, all those variables.
You have those problems now with boats for go into storage with whether it's your regular lead acid batteries or AGM batteries, boats that have generators. If they get laid up correctly, if they get stored correctly, if those engines, those generators, boat engines get serviced correctly for long-term storage, you still can have issues coming back out of storage and getting those units running up. More so on the gasoline end than maybe, say, the diesel, although diesel down in your warmer weather environments because of the potential for algae growth in that fuel can cause and has caused.
But the EVs have less moving parts, less things that could go wrong, but you do got to keep the batteries maybe on a trickle charge. Yeah.
One of those things that as they go into storage and, do those batteries get pulled? How do they get stored? Certainly they're not going to stay on any type of a charge while in winter storage, things like that. For boats that, during the season aren't getting used quite enough, I don't think that's going to be an issue. I think Mike brings up a valid point, which is how do you handle that for as boats up north are getting ready to go into winter storage?
Yeah, and the batteries don't operate as good in cold, but technology might catch up and will benefit from the automotive world in that regard too. More coming up.
You're listening to the World of Boating Radio Network. Successfully navigated the Sea of Commerce and now are clear to cruise with the World of Boating.
I do like the water.
The radio show devoted exclusively to the boating lifestyle.
The sun, the sea air, good friends.
Brought to you by worldofboating.com, your internet portal for the boating enthusiast.
I'm really excited to check out these beautiful waters with you in a really cool way.
All right.
See that boat over there?
Yeah.
I think we're going to sail on it today.
Oh, my God, yes.
This is the World of Boating Bachelorette wrapping up this week, as I know Mike and Patrick watch closely. And we will find out if they have found love or they'll be walking the plank when it comes to finding love. It's looking pretty tragic this week, as Patrick especially knows. I don't know who you're pulling for, Rachel or the other one. There, Patrick, which one you hope finds love, or you hope they both find it? What do you think?
Go away.
You want him to go away?
Just go away.
You just want him to go away. That's sad.
No, I just want you to go away.
Me?
Why didn't you just stay in Fiji?
What? Because trust me, if I would have stayed there.
Easy,
yeah.
My blood pressure was well in check for 2 weeks.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. They haven't had.
There was no Greg rage going on.
As you know, there hadn't been a lot of boating fantasy dates on the Bachelorette, which explains why they are crashing and burning right now. And we'll find out the results this week.
No boat.
Yeah, no boats, low ratings. There you go. I mean, maybe they could have featured like a new electric boat or something, and put that on there and have them take it. It'd be quieter and. They could be out there at one with the water. I mean,
if only you could be quieter.
Quiet. I love the idea of the electric boat, but I think we're going to have the same problem we do with the EVs and cars. It's range envy and price. They got to get through that problem before it really filters in.
Because most boaters, most boaters aren't, to Mike's point and to Mike's credit, they don't use their boat as much, nor do they use it really in the manner that you would expect someone to use a boat, say something like what Mike has in the 39-foot range. Mike goes out, he uses his boat, he's up and down the St. John's, probably less now because now he's all on the Craig Cat kick. So the boat's probably staying in port a little bit more than maybe he wants. But that
wait, he's shaking his head no. Why, Mike?
No, we're using both. In fact, next weekend we're
boating
going
more.
to we're going to take Silhouette out, and we're going to pull the Craig Cat, and we're going to go down river and go exploring a little bit, and then run.
Listen, wait till you get those 2 days of cold weather in January here. You're going to be wishing that you weren't on that Craig Cat. But for 2 days that we get winter, you're going to be in trouble.
We run this boat. In fact, winter is our favorite time to boat. That is our favorite boating season. I have no problem putting on a nice heavy jacket.
Why are you laughing, Patrick? Why are you raining on his parade?
Winter is like 2 days here in Florida.
Well, okay, all right.
I can't even remember. I mean, last year, early this year, we even had. It was like it went from 105 degrees to 90, and everybody's like, "Hey, winter's here."
Hey, getting back real quick, I want to circle back to the battery thing.
Yeah,
so we featured a vessel and a technology a couple of years ago. I cannot remember the name.
Novolux.
Of my life right now. Novolux. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Now that to me is very intriguing because it was electric powered with solar generation. If you kept the boat under 6 knots, you had basically unlimited range if you had good sunny weather.
Right.
Yeah, it was also a sail cat.
Yeah.
Was Novolux in the way they were converting systems or putting in new systems.
Right.
But Barry and I went on one of their boats that they had bought over from South Africa that was at the Miami Boat Show, and not a fan.
Why?
Really?
Well, for the money, that boat was lacking a lot.
Well, but that's the problem. That's why I said the issue with these EVs and the batteries are going to be range. And it's going to be price. That is the same problem we have with cars.
It's the way the boat was made.
No, it's the cost. It costs way too much money still because the technology hasn't gotten low enough where you bring it down.
How can you tell me that I'm wrong with what I'm saying?
Because you are. I'm
telling you, the boat itself.
You just said for the price. That's what you said for the price.
Was very
expensive.
Had a very cheap feel about it for the money.
But you could apply that technology to a better boat, right?
Absolutely.
So you could do one of the better higher end Power Cats and put the panels on the roof like they did on the one that they featured in the segments that we did.
Yeah.
But what I really like about what they did with that is you had 2 options. You could run below 6 knots and have virtually unlimited range if you had good enough weather to repower the power cells, or if you wanted to go faster, up to 13 or 14 knots, I believe, if I remember correctly, you could start the generator and supplement the solar panels.
Turn into a hybrid kind of thing, yeah.
And you still had, and then you had about 2,000 miles range because you're running a 3-cylinder little 8 kilowatt diesel generator that sips a quarter of a cup of diesel an hour. And I thought that was just a really great way to incorporate that technology into it. And if they made a good quality vessel, that's one I would consider.
I didn't say it wasn't a good quality vessel. It had a very cheap feel. I expected more for not only just the money, but the name behind the company that actually manufactured those cat yachts. But here's what's going to happen with the battery charging systems, with the power bank systems. We're going to get into this Betamax VHS battle, DVD versus Laserdisc. Which one is going to come out? Who's going to come out? Who's going to be the dominant provide or what technology is actually going to be set the standard, if you will. I know Mastervolt is heavy into the power bank systems, but which one is going to kind of survive? And because you really do need to standardize that within the industry so that it's easier for the dealers, it's easier for the owners, it's easier for the manufacturers.
But isn't this all battery technology? Because that's what was happening right now with cars. The battery is taking up like 2/3 of the cost of the car. That's why they're so expensive.
Yeah,
and the batteries are evolving. They got some new ones coming out that are supposedly going to be way, way cheaper, but we're still probably a couple years from that, coming to fruition. But once it does,
it's a trade-off with a new boat. Do I go with a generator and the cost of a generator and the maintenance on a generator? And depending on the manufacturer, reliability could be a concern. Or do I go with a power bank system? The trade-off there, it's almost an even trade at this point. Go this way or go that way. And then you come into, if I do a power bank system, I have I have so much time to run systems, AC and everything else before I need to get back and plug into shore power and be able to recharge. And the way those systems are set up, they are very informative, very smart. They will have a reserve capacity that they won't let you touch before they kind of time out.
Mike?
That's why I like the kind of all-in approach. It's like you can look at energy policy for our nation and say, hey, it's all of the above, not just wind and solar, because wind and solar isn't there yet. Well, battery packs aren't there yet. If you are going on a week-long trip and you're trying to spend 2 or 3 nights on the hook here and there, and you're relying solely on batteries, then you're limited. Potentially can you're limited. If you have a generator that can supplement the batteries, that you're still getting amazing efficiency out of that system.
There you go. I mean, we're kind of in a gray area right now. We're getting there. Just needs a little bit more time to mature is my thing. All right. We're going to wrap it up for this week. Till next time, remember, whether it's sail or motor,
life is better as a boater.
Safe boating, everyone.
Barnacle-bitten swab. World of Boating is brought to you by worldofboating.com, your internet portal for the boating enthusiast.
Any of this getting through to you, son?
World of Boating is a production of Overboard Entertainment Incorporated.
Computer standing by.
Remember, you can listen live or to archives of past shows worldwide over the internet at worldofboating.com.
Computers can do that?
So tell a friend and come aboard every week for the World of Boating.
This is so great. I can't wait. I'm getting goosebumps. Feel me.
The radio show devoted exclusively to the boating lifestyle.
TTFN, ta-ta for now.
The opinions you just heard on the World of Boating are those of the hosts, callers, and guests. They are not necessarily those of any station or network, its management, or advertisers.
What are you being such a weenie for?
While on the water, your safety and the safety of many others depends on you. So boat smart and operate your vessel only after receiving the proper training and instruction for your area.
There is a fine line between genius and madness.
Have any questions or comments? Feel free to do so via the web at worldofboating.com.